So one thing that is a common controversy that people accuse you of is the champagne socialist.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what a champagne socialist is?
I think a champagne socialist is born out of the misunderstanding that like
Socialists
socialism
have to be
implies
poor.
that you have to be poor.
No, that's not what it comes from, and that's not what it means. It means when you wear socialism as an aesthetic, when you preach about the evils of capitalism while thriving in it and living your best life and taking absolutely no steps whatsoever to either live a socialist lifestyle, which doesn't mean poor. It means empowering or enabling people to participate in sharing the means of production in your own businesses, or maybe empowering or enabling mutual aid programs to usurp or supersede other local state programs or other charitable things or whatever, like, because mutual aid is a better way to do it. Champagne socialist just means you don't believe in anything you're saying. You're essentially grifting.
That born misunderstanding
Why am I
that
watching
like
this?
socialism implies that you have to be poor. That like you can.
I hope they push. That's so stupid. Please don't let him get away with this. Oh, I can't have a $250,000 Mercedes Benz or whatever the car he bought, Porsche. I can't have that, guys. Oh, I guess socialism is when no car, huh? Socialism when no car. Oh, kill me, bro.
Understanding that like socialism implies that you have to be poor, that like you cannot be successful, and that like everyone has the same thing. Like it's socialism is about like instituting by force the same standards of existence for everyone. You know, the gray city blocks come to mind. You know, social housing, Soviet era.
Maybe equity instead of equality.
Yeah, exactly. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you so much. It is about equity instead of equality. That's what people misunderstand about socialism. It is not about equity instead of equality at all. We don't have material equality as a baseline in this country. We don't have that at all. I'm advocating for a baseline of material equality, and I'm advocating for better worker protections, better worker rights, and less alienation.
That's all a lie. That's a fucking lie. What he's talking about can happen in a capitalist system, and it is explicitly not what socialism is about. It's not about materially equal conditions. That's called welfare or redistribution, which capitalism can do, right? You're talking specifically about getting rid of or eliminating the profit, or at the very least, redirecting the profit to workers. You want to destroy private ownership because owners that don't work shouldn't be collecting money off of people that do. That's fundamentally what your belief is. And that's not even like, this is what Marxists believe. This is what you believe. You said this on stream, motherfucker. Oh my God, it's so cringe. He's gonna walk on all this. He's gonna walk on all of this. Fuck me.
I don't have that at all. I'm advocating for a baseline of material equality, and I'm advocating
Baseline of material equality. Yeah, every fucking capitalist on the left does this, chief. Like, it's
at all. I'm advocating for a baseline of material equality, and I'm advocating for better worker protections, better worker rights, and less alienation from labor and more autonomy. That everyone can have a say because they are a part of the puzzle. That everyone that touches a project also has some level of say in what gets done with the surplus labor. So it has nothing to do with like, you know, making sure everyone is poor or whatever the fuck people think.
please push, please. Ask some real questions. Like, oh, so like in your ideal model, you would ban all private ownership. No more private, no more investments like that, no more private ownership of any businesses. All of that would be 100% banned, right?
Thing about socialism, I don't really care too much about it as far as like thing about social do with like, you know, making sure everyone is poor or whatever the people think about socialism. I don't really care too much about it as far as like as far as an own. Like people will be like socialism, but you have an iPhone, or socialism because it's like dumb things that you buy that are very expensive, which is true. I do. I buy fucking expensive shit from time to time.
Kill me, bro. Oh, it's so gross. I'm equally upset with the iced coffee hour. Bro, he should be getting raked over the fucking coals for answers this fucking horrible. My God, like he should not be able to wander outside of his $5 million WeHo mansion in his $250,000 Porsche. He should not be able to wander outside of that without having somebody hold him to task for the insanely incoherent belief system that he preaches on stream and the one that he lives by. God, it's so fucking cringe.
I'm an idiot that you buy that are very expensive, which is true. I do. I buy expensive shit from time to time. I'm an idiot, but I've always, you know, these are things that I wanted to buy. Of course, you know, it's not I don't find that to be like, I guess, a marker for your political beliefs at all.
So
There are levels to it, though, for sure.
right, but to a casual viewer, that
There
just-
are levels to it. Which level are you on, Hasan? Is the multi-million-dollar mansion and $250,000 car, is that like closer to like max level capitalist, or are you still down on like the proletariat level of capitalism?
kind of hears about you and maybe sees a few clips of you, a lot of the times it's like ranting on people, like wealthy people, and oh, people need to be taxed more. There's a privileged person, and then they look at your lifestyle and they see that you bought this fancy, $3 million house or whatever. You have a Porsche. You got like, you got canceled for $1,000 shirt that you wore to Coachella.
I did, yeah. That was so, God.
People think that socialism is when poor. Huh? People think socialism is when you have no clothes.
Anyway,
But you see how this juxtaposition would confuse a lot of people and be like, this guy seems like a little bit hypocritical.
yeah, no, for sure. I understand that. But there's nothing I can do beyond the fact that, like, this is not explaining that this is not inherently contradictory to the things that I advocate for, especially considering that, like, I have no issues with being taxed more. I pay the tax rates that I do in California that you probably know better than I do. And although the spending on those taxes is
Socialism is when you pay your taxes. These are like the most. It's like his idea of socialism. Actually, everything he said, his idea of socialism is what Republicans called socialism in 2005. Wow, you want protections for workers? Labor unions, the socialist labor unions? Wow, you want high taxes, socialist tax brackets? Wow, you want to create a baseline welfare redistribution, socialist welfare? Like, none of this has anything to do with socialism. These are liberal ideas that can be implemented in a capitalist system. None of this has anything to do with socialism. I hate how he's such a fucking coward. He won't wear his beliefs on his chest. Say what you believe.
is not.
Yeah, he LARPs as a sock dem on these podcasts, while on his own shows, he's like a terrorist, genocidal apologist for the worst and most disgusting regimes on the fucking planet. It's unreal that like the Zoomer rise of like the socialist dip cuckery allows people like this to go on. Like he should be treated like Nick Fuentes or worse on these podcasts, because at least Fuentes is smart enough not to openly say, I love Hitler until he was next to fucking Kanye, right? Whereas Hasan does say this openly on his platforms. He does cheer on the fucking Houthis. He does cheer on every time fucking Iran. What was his shit last night covering the missile strikes and shit? Oh, fuck, it's so fucking gross. It's so gross. It's so disgusting.
Best. I wish that they would spend it better. I still see that as my patriotic duty, knowing that at least some percentage of that is still going to places that desperately need it, like schooling, like the roads and whatever.
Yeah, this is socialism is when taxes pay for roads and schools.
Social amenities that are offered, the marginal amount of public transit that we do have, I guess. Overall, it's not inherently contradictory. It's not about, socialism is not about forcing people to live a certain set of standards, and but that's impossible for me to change the mindset of every American. We are all conditioned to hate socialism in general. I think I've talked about this before.
Part of the conditioning of hating socialism, by the way, is when conservatives would do what Hasan is doing right now, and that's when you conflate socialism. And when people say socialism, they think of like the Soviet Union and the Holodomor and like Mao's China and the Great Leap Forward. People are thinking of this, and you're like, oh yeah, but socialism is also California taxes, bro. Socialism is when my taxes go to schools, bro. Like, this is why people hate like the left. Not even the left. I shouldn't say like the left like that. But this is why people hate like Democrats and liberals when they try to conflate them with socialism. It's so funny. Democrats spent so long fighting against ideas like, bro, taxes and welfare are not socialism. And now you've got these retarded, like 15-year-old, pure white, Aryan, retarded fucks that are just trying to get popular on TikTok, okay? Mentally, that's where Hasan is, 15-year-old white kid, okay? That are trying to get popular on TikTok and streams on YouTube saying like, oh, actually, bro, yeah, that is what socialism is. Like, kill me.